All right, everyone. I'm Steve Metrics. This is DJ TRIGGS. Together, we are No Debate Sports, and this is our very first video we're showing to y'all. We have a lot more to come with spreadsheets and math and whiteboard magic, all that fun stuff. So here we go. We're starting right here with what is going on with Lamar Jackson. There's been a lot of talk about him, and
wait, Lamar Jackson? Who is that?
Exactly. That is an excellent quarterback in the NFL, and it seems very odd at the moment that the team that he plays for no longer wants to really operate with him as the quarterback, maybe even take a cost-effective option and go with Tyler Huntley.
And we heard this morning he actually asked for a trade back the beginning of March, so
exactly.
Big deal here.
So big deal on that, and it seems like there is movement going on, but all of this movement is going behind the scenes, as that is how these NFL franchises like to operate. They like to keep things in the dark, and when it finally happens, it happens. So, granted, the Jets and Rodgers, that's a different thing. That's for another day. But here we are. Here we are with this. So, I know you all are wondering why we have the Tennessee Titans up here and why we have a whiteboard listed with these three awesome teams. Exactly. Yeah, a lot of question marks here. And to me, this really opens up the door to movement with a quarterback that we've seen that is going to move. And there's been movement with players in the past.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So, if there's a player on a certain team, let's go with the Las Vegas Raiders.
There you go.
They had a wide receiver that was coming in that was a pretty big deal.
They did.
Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
What did you see there?
Exactly. This is, to me, very reminiscent of almost exactly a year ago when Devontae Adams showed up with the Vegas Raiders. And they did make very big moves within 1 week. The very first move that happened was on a Tuesday. You had your former number one wide receiver in Zay Jones, who had a very good, productive season, left town and went to Jacksonville.
Right.
And he went there knowing that he has a shot to be a number one wide receiver. You stay in Vegas, Devontae Adams comes, you're going to be relegated to the number two wide receiver on that team. So go make the buck, do good for yourself, and go play for another team.
Right.
So he goes to Jacksonville and has that opportunity. What I see going on here, and this is where our whiteboard plays into this, is that we just had happen a few days ago. Joshua Dobbs left Cleveland, he left the Tennessee Titans, was the number one quarterback, had a great shot at winning against Jacksonville and taking them to the playoffs.
And you have numbers that actually show that Malik Willis, and obviously Ryan Tannehill's not the number one there anymore. He's making the money, but definitely not in the number one spot. But
not at all.
You're saying this guy was ahead of both of those guys.
Exactly. Joshua Dobbs was that guy that really showed up, that worked his tail off, and really made an impact on making himself, like Zay Jones, have an opportunity to be the number one player at your position on that team.
Right.
So now Joshua Dobbs was the one with the Tennessee Titans, ahead of Tannehill, who was hurt, ahead of Malik Willis, who wasn't ready, and goes and signs with the Browns out of left field. Really, really odd choice. You do have to go somewhere if you had a feeling that something was going on. So Joshua Dobbs goes to Cleveland. Deshaun Watson is there, very suitable quarterback, but should something happen, Joshua Dobbs has the knowledge and the ability that he knows that he could fight for that position somehow, some way, if things shake up in his favor.
There's a lot of guarantees up there. I don't know. Watson might stay the number one.
Exactly.
But you will always need a good number two.
Exactly. And even when Joshua Dobbs was with the Steelers, he was, in most people's eyes, better than Mason Rudolph, and was that very strong, suitable backup behind Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
So to see his moves makes a lot of sense. So I see Dobbs going there, but then you really leave town because you are starting to get wind of someone else showing up. Just like Zay Jones had to get wind that Devontae Adams was coming to the Raiders. I see the exact same thing happening with the Titans. And there, in my eyes, is discussions between the Titans and Ravens of Lamar Jackson showing up. He's a strong quarterback. And the biggest thing that we noticed that Lamar needs is size. Exactly.
Now, why does that come up? What do you see with size on the Titans?
Well, it comes from the view that we know Lamar Jackson had great success with Mark Andrews. But looking at just the beginning of the tight end, Okonkwo is definitely that big tight end. But even better, watching Nick Westbrook-Akine play, that guy is size. He's got that Mikael Hodgins, that Alan Lazard kind of size.
Okay.
So by season's end, Nick Westbrook-Akine became that number one. Burks had a tough start to the year, but eventually got going. So essentially you have three guys that all have pretty good size, whereas every receiver that Lamar Jackson played with was small and fast.
Right. And we found out through numbers that none of those guys were up to the same prestige as these guys.
Exactly. And that's where we're going to show you all in the future that there are distinct differences between these players on every team that is in a regular font and a bold bona fide font. Players that are bona fide, we are actually going to show that they actually have the math, that they are leaps and bounds ahead of every other player at their position on any given team. They are the best of the best of the best.
Some of them will surprise you.
They will. They will. They absolutely will surprise you.
I mean, this one's no surprise. It's Derrick Henry.
Clearly Derrick Henry is the best of the best, and he is on the Titans. And yes, this roster definitely needs a lot of work with how they want to function. But the main thing that we can take away from this is that Lamar Jackson wants a team that can run the ball and that has big size on its receiving core.
Yeah.
Tennessee, as it stands now, checks off both those boxes.
Right.
And this would be an excellent location for Lamar Jackson to land and have future success. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and it will show when he goes to a team that is suitable for him.
Absolutely. I mean, he's already top 10, arguably. You give him some size. Now think about the boxes, those open boxes for Derrick Henry to run through.
Exactly. Yeah, you get those open boxes. You get less pressure for Derrick Henry to worry about because now you have the concern of Lamar Jackson's arm. And when Lamar Jackson is playing, he is incredibly strong in the red zone, and he is incredibly poised within the pocket. That's where he thrives. And Tennessee last year did have an excellent offensive line. Lamar Jackson needs to go to a team with good offensive lines. The other team that is being whispered with Lamar is Atlanta. That is another team that is almost identical to what we're seeing with this build and design of the Titans. But that is another team we haven't heard too much, but it's there. Right. So we'll see. But I think that the Titans have more open availability because a team like the Falcons, they have Desmond Ridder. They trust him. He's succeeded in his last 4 games of the season, has continuously improved. Whereas the Titans, the one guy they had, they already sent him out of town.
Yeah. And what does that mean for Malik Willis?
Yeah. Malik Willis was always talked about being a project, being a lot of work. Granted, he has incredible athleticism, but that ability to really make those reads downfield, it's been tough.
Right.
So Lamar Jackson to Tennessee makes a whole world of sense, and it would be really cool to see if that comes to fruition.
Hey, that is No Debate Sports. This right here, no debate. Steve Metrics, DJ Triggs, there's no way that you can debate that.
Exactly.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.